A picture-perfect day here in Clemson, South Carolina for a monumental matchup in ACC men's soccer. #1 team in the land, Wake Forest Demon Deacons, come to town to take on the Clemson Tigers, who were #3 in the nation until getting upset on the road at UNC last week. Alongside Charlie Davies, I'm Dallin Cuff. And Chuck, we hope tonight's match will be equal to what we saw last year between these two teams, because it was one of the best games of the campaign. Clemson got up early. They were up 2-1 late in the match. Wake was able to score 2 late goals, 1 in overtime. The crowd there was in bedlam, and us as fans loved this game.
Both teams have such attacking prowess. And Wake Forest, much more calm, possessive. They use the full width of the pitch, and Clemson, much more direct. And so we could be in for one of those 4-5, 5-4 games tonight.
And after Wake won this game, Mike Noonan did tell us that loss that Clemson suffered propelled his team to an eventual regular season title in the ACC. And this year, folks thought they would repeat. They were just edging out Clemson by 1 vote overall in the ACC to win the conference in the preseason poll, mainly because so much talent, as you said, but the midfield, Isaiah Parente for Wake, Philip Mayaka, 2 of the best in the business.
And they both have phenomenal fitness levels. Mayaka, he's a disruptive and elite ball-winning midfielder. His anticipation is great. And for Isaiah Parente, cerebral, he has quality touches, he finds the pockets well, and he keeps the ball moving. This is going to be the matchup of the season.
And Parente's been outstanding at making that final pass as of late. 4 assists, that is second in ACC. When we come back, starting 11s to kickoffs from Clemson, South Carolina. Great matchup on the horizon. Back here at historic Riggs Field, where the band and the fans have seen 18 straight W's for their Tigers. The starting 11 to try to break that streak for Bobby Muse in the 4-2-3-1. Here are your starting 11. Kyle Holcomb up top. Chuck, has he become the goal scorer they need?
They love his work rate and his tenacity, but he needs to be the consistent finisher. And if he can, that'll take him to the top.
And on the other side, Mike Noonan is 4-3-3, but James Brighton getting the start. The first time this year since Mohamed Saeed got hurt in after the South Carolina game, they have a true center forward. How does this change their group?
Well, they need him to stay high and central, hold up the ball, occupy 2 center backs, and create space for Kamani Smith and Grayson Barber.
Players take their knee, as has become customary across the ACC and the world in world football, in honor of social justice. George Marks, the keeper for the Tigers, Andrew Pannenberg for the Demon Deacons, and we're about to be underway, and we are. David Urbacher in the middle is the official. 2 of the best teams in the country, maybe we would say the 2 best and 2 most talented, facing off here in the ACC network. Kamani Smith out wide, looks to play the ball in. Quickly, the Tigers within 15 seconds have a corner. And there's Bobby Muse, the coach of Wake Forest, 6th season there. Outstanding success he's had, 4-time ACC Coach of the Year. In his tenure, they have 92 wins. That is the most in the nation. He's done a great job, 2 College Cup appearances, including last year when they lost in the semifinals to UVA, who eventually the Cavs lost to Georgetown in the national championships. Luis Felipe Fernandez Salvador plays it in, cleared out by Garrison Tubbs, the freshman center back. A little bit of an audacious attempt there from Alvaro Gomez, playing at a right back spot, more of a midfielder, playing at the right back, out for a goal kick. So Chuck, with Gomez moving to right back, what does that do for Mike Noonan's club? Why did he make that tactical move?
Mike Noonan wanted Alvaro Gomez to get on the ball, be confident, be able to play the balls in behind. He thought, we're gonna be able to possess the ball in this match. So I want my right back to get involved, get in the attack, and Alvaro Gomez can do that because he's naturally a midfielder.
And there is Mike Noonan, the aforementioned head coach, 11th season at Clemson. He's the reigning ACC Coach of the Year. His club was the regular season champs last year. Led them to the final back in 15. They lost to Stanford. All the success he's had, over 300 wins in 4 different schools as a head coach. He's got over 100. He's got 112 now here at Clemson. Got him a new 6-year contract in the offseason. Congratulations to Coach. Well deserved.
Clemson for life.
He is a Clemson for life guy. Now, Takuma Suzuki on the ball. Cool sophomore midfielder. Plays it back to Garrison Tubbs, one of the freshmen in this back line. Back to Nico Benalcazar, the sophomore. Logged a lot of minutes last year. Started every game that he's appeared in. And Pannenberg's the service, or distribution, poor out of the back. Missed Holland Rula. Gomez comes forward for the throw.
Now Clemson are super aggressive. They're going to push high up the field. They're going to be direct. Whereas Wake Forest, they like to take their time. They're patient. They like to control the game, make Clemson chase.
Tubbs turnover there. He's getting pressed, as you just mentioned. Smith's pressure causes a problem. Grayson Barber heads it down, but right into the arms of Pannenberg.
But this is when they're at their best, Dallin. It's when they press and they counter press and they create turnovers in the attacking half, and then they go right at goal. There is no hesitation.
And Calvin Harris gets on the ball, draws a foul. Bear in mind, folks, as we mentioned in the beginning, Clemson lost their last outing to UNC, a last-second header, which you don't see very often, but took down the number 3 team in the land. Chuck, we'd had 2 of their first 3 games. They struggled to get out of second gear. What has been the problem to this point, in your opinion?
Well, they've lacked not only a target striker. Mohamed Saeed went down in warm-ups.
Choke Chol breaking into the 18. Shoved off the ball nicely. Now a possible counter. Go ahead, Chuck.
They've also missed Tanner Dietrich in the heart of the midfield, that defensive midfield presence. So Mayaka loves to roam. He covers so much ground, but you also need a midfielder who's going to hold the team accountable.
Calvin Harris looking back post from a choke Chol. Doesn't happen. And there's the aforementioned Mohamed Saeed. He was the co-offensive player of the week in his first outing, at 2 goals against South Carolina. Also drew the penalty. They won that game 3-0. A sophomore from Spain, 6'3", big frame, good feet. I know Mike Noonan was so excited about him, but he's got a leg injury and will be out for quite some time. Chuck, how disappointed are you to not be able to see him? Because I know you were excited about him coming into the year.
You know I love my attackers. I am disappointed. He's supposed to be the ultimate package at center back. Big, imposing, a real goal scorer. And at 6'3", he's tough to deal with. He holds up the players, and you miss Robbie Robinson going as the #1 pick to Inter Miami. So you needed someone who had a presence to allow Grayson Barber, to allow Kamarni Smith the time and space in occupying center backs. He was that man. He was also the player who's going to get you goals. Makes great runs in the box, an intelligent striker, and he has worked at his game tirelessly. So now he's developing, the quick combination play needed to really have success at the next level.
Yeah, Mike Noonan said he really bedded in after that first year. He stayed in the offseason, able to really work on his game and get better, even through the COVID situation, continued to improve, and they were really excited about him, but have to wait to see him back on. Jake Swollen in the midfield finds Isaiah Parente. Nice attempted ball to get to Holcomb, but picked out by Justin Malou. Malou there again, senior. There's Mayaka on the ball, pressured by Jake Swollen. And we talked about Saeed, but for Wake, they've had some really key injuries as well. Big problems for their squad in terms of guys missed. We mentioned already a young back line. Garrison Tubbs, a freshman. Nico Benalcazar, a sophomore. There's a foul called on Grayson Barber. But Michael DeShields, their center back, 5th-year senior. He got hurt in the preseason scrimmage against Pitt. He's essentially done for the year. But Justin McMaster, a dynamic winger who scored in last year's match against Clemson, still out, working his way back, hopefully back soon. Aristotle Zaris, another guy that's dynamic, talented. Zaris is a former all-freshman team player, all-league player. Chuck, how much do they miss these guys, or do they? They have so much talent. Do they need these guys to be successful?
Well, you always welcome depth. And Justin McMaster, for me, when he's on his A game, is one of the best wingers in the country. But Michael DeShields is who you really miss. This is a player who is arguably the best center back in college soccer. He reads the game well. He's strong, real calming presence in the back. He keeps the ball. You can build out of the back with the center back with his capabilities. So that's one player you really miss.
Smith played in a ball dangerously, but Benalcazar is over there to head it out. Speaking of that center back pairing, Garrison Tubbs is the guy replacing 32 in your screen, replacing DeShields as Smith made the run down the channel.
And this is where you get Kemarney Smith into the open field. He has pace. He can outrun most players in college soccer, and this is where he can hurt you. Getting him on the aggressive front foot early on in the game, and that allows more space underneath for Grayson Barber and for James Brighton.
Just one more thing on DeShields. His injury was a serious injury, folks. He had to be carted off the field against Pitt in that exhibition game. Very scary scene. But he's back and standing on the sidelines, helping his teammates, trying to really talk and be a coach in the sidelines, really showing a ton of maturity. As Bobby Muse told us, was really proud of what he's done, but also fears for the injury, but thinks he'll be back and have a chance to play as a professional. And we all hope he does.
Well, that's great news, because you could tell he's a wonderful kid who has a big presence on the Wake Forest team. Everyone listens to him. You could tell when he's on the field, he's coaching guys in position, organizing, and he definitely does have potential and a ceiling to make that transition into the professional game.
Charlie Asensio, third-team All-ACC guy last year, the left back with the throw-in. Jake Swollen's got his head up, looking to ping it out wide to Harris. Harris, dynamic winger, charging at Alvaro Gomez. Early ball played in. Ogren is there, though.
Dallin, it's going to be a long night for Gomez right back for Clemson if he's faced in 1v1 situations with Calvin Harris. Just a tremendous amount of pace. He's aggressive. We saw the step overs. He's a little shifty. Any player in college soccer is going to have a tough time dealing with him 1v1.
Yeah, Harris is a reigning All-ACC freshman team player. He's got 2 goals and 2 assists on the year already. Hails from Middlesbrough, England. His father played for Sheffield United. His father, Terry. United's in Premier League right now. Not having a fantastic season, but great club nonetheless. Holcomb trying to hold it up, maintains possession. Parente on the ball. Holland Rula 1-on-1 with James Brighton, who rides the challenge. Low ball played in. Ogren there again. The sophomore from Sweden. All-ACC freshman as well as a center back, making some big tackles and clearances out there.
Here's the challenge. James Brighton running back, and Gomez comes in. Rula almost gets across to Holcomb, but you want James Brighton. You love that he's working on both sides of the ball, but stay high. You're the target striker. Stay in between the center backs and look for those long balls to hold it up, or they're going to play into your feet and then bring in the attack.
Nice job by Rula to keep it in play into Harris's feet. Harris has got his head up, looking for Parente, finds his feet. Mayaka disrupted it just enough. Potential counter here for the Tigers when they're arguably at their best in transition. Kind of a 3v3. Tries to get it out wide to Smith, but Christian Escobrano, the freshman, is out there from Frisco, Texas, but he's born in Madrid. He's an FC Dallas Academy product, and he's really, Bobby Muse told us, stepped up since the opener. He did not start against Louisville, but in the last 2 matches against NC State and then UAB has really claimed that right back starting spot. As a freshman, he's been proud of him to see him step up and take ownership of it. A tough night for him, too, with Kemarney Smith up there on that wing.
He did well to anticipate that ball and make the crucial challenge. Grayson Barber has looked good so far, more involved than we've seen him in the past 2 matches.
Grayson Barber, 11, right winger. It's got the ball right now. Second team All-ACC last year. Second on their team in terms of points returning this year. Kemarney Smith was first, and they lost Robbie Robinson, the #1 pick in the draft. Mayaka was trying to get forward. The pass just a little too much on it for him. There's Barber, the Sporting KC Academy product. Also spent time in the U.S. Under-17 residency program as well.
Yeah, he's got some talent.
Mm-hmm.
He can use both his right foot, his left foot goes inside. He can combine. He's got great touches. This is a player, if he gets going, it allows everyone else to have a little bit more freedom in the attacking third.
Parente on the ball, a little bit of space, trying to knock it forward to Holcomb, but Marks is off his line. George Marks, second team All-ACC last year, goalkeeper. One of the captains on this squad. A bad turnover to Jake Swollen. Parente on it. Lines one up. Wide.
Both uncharacteristic from these midfielders. Mayaka, he sees the field, but he turns the wrong way. Jake Swollen does a good job of winning it, finds Parente, and he sees the time and space. He takes a couple of touches, sees Machop Chol, but it's late, so he just figures, this is a good time to let it fly. But you expect a player of his quality to put that on goal. He'll be disappointed with that shot.
Should he have played Machop Chol there? I mean, Chol's a dynamic winger, led the team in assists last year, but he chose that shot from about 24 yards.
I'll always say, if you put it on target, I'm fine with it. But when you shoot it and it goes completely off target, you better play that ball next time.
That's like in hoops. No, don't take that shot unless it goes in.
Exactly. So that's your one freebie. And Parente is an unselfish player. He typically makes the pass. He's a pass-first kind of player. So also uncharacteristic.
Suzuki, possible opportunity in transition to overhit his ball to Harris. Marks was off his line anyway.
And that's good anticipation, reading the game from George Marks, because Calvin Harris was through. If he doesn't come out, that's a shot on goal.
Fernandez Salvador combining with Mayaka in the middle. Mayaka almost turns it over again.
And Dallin, so far, I think we've seen the problems with Mayaka that have occurred, which is him trying to do too much. You know, when he's simple and he's quick, it's efficient, and you can see what he does for this team because he gets higher up the field. His reactions set the tone for this team, because if they lose possession, he's the first guy on it. He wins the ball back, and then they attack.
Fernandez Salvador stepping past David Erbacher, the official, out to Gomez. Smith and Barber switch sides. Marnie Smith was just on the ball, second team All-American last year, first team All-ACC. There he is again. Pressure Mayaka in the middle, he turns it over. Clemson pressing high, but Wake able to get it reversed the other side. Holcomb dispossessed. Mayaka on it now. Head up. Brighton. Excuse me, Barber. Barber battling with Holland Rula. Finds a little bit of space. Mayaka stepping through traffic. Trying to get a shot off. Blocked. Gomez. Fernandez Salvador. Asensio and Smith trying to combine. Parente rides him off the ball, but Asensio's still there. Tries to clip it back in. Deflected again. Battle continues.
This is what we didn't see from Clemson in the two previous games we called from them. Now they have the ability to move the ball from sideline to sideline. Try and stretch Wake. Wake, they look well structured, they're organized, but the only way to break a team down is to move the ball quick and play into those channels and continue to move off the ball, which they're starting to do now.
Some slick passing by Clemson. Mayaka's going to find himself into the box, bumped off the ball by the big defender Tubbs. And Tubbs will just get it out of danger. That might be a late, yes it will be. Machop Chol in there late, takes out Charlie Asensio.
And this is Clemson. They're taking one touch, two touch. They're playing quick, and their heads up. They're aware. They're getting into the channels, finding the gaps, going from one side to the other, and then it's just continuing to try and find those spaces, pull Wake Forest players out of position, and then try and hit them and expose those spots. So well done from Clemson early on.
Fernandez Salvador looks like he will take the free kick. Marnie Smith heads back toward the box. Driven in, looking back post. Might fall to Callum Johnson. Tags it off of Holcomb. Out for a corner kick.
But Down, this is the reaction that Clemson wanted and hoped for after a loss to UNC. The ball's whipped to the back post. Oscar Agron can't out-jump Tubbs, and Callum Johnson just tries to get it on goal. It was a well-taken shot. Now they get another opportunity off the set piece.
He had one of those in the UAB game. Same thing. A set piece felled him. He took a shot from 18. The keeper spilled it. Justin Malou scored the opening goal of that match. I mean, trying to make something happen out of nothing. Ball floated toward the back post. Justin Malou is there. Nothing he can do with it. Got another women's soccer double dip coming your way on Thursday. Number 2 Florida State takes on Pitt. Amanda West leads the nation in goal scoring right now for Pitt. They take on number 2 Florida State. That's 6 Eastern. Then number 11 Virginia hosting number 13 Louisville at Klockner Stadium in Charlottesville. Both games right here on ACCN and the app. Opportunity. Barber shot. Just wide. Dangerous turnover for Wake. Barber almost made him pay. Suzuki chips it over the top, looking for Holcomb. Holcomb might still stay with Holcomb. No. Knocked back, and now a foul called on the junior, excuse me. Here's that opportunity from Barber.
Here's Clemson continuing to press. They're relentless. Kamari Smith doing all the dirty work. Sets up for Grayson Barber, who tries to catch the Pannenberg near post. He opens the hip. So once he does that, Pannenberg will cheat, but he couldn't put it on frame.
You saw Mike Noonan's reaction. He has said to us in pretty much every game they've played, they've created a lot of opportunities, but they have not taken them. That was one that they may rue that miss, but it was missed by a hair, but it was a miss nonetheless. Wake's press is really bearing some fruit for them against the Demon Deacons right now. Mayaka's pass turned over. Machopachol is there. Parente, nice dummy, slick. Suzuki steps out of some trouble. Callum Johnson lets it go out, and it will be a Wake possession. Johnson, number 8, the transfer from BC, will have a little segment on him at halftime. His journey to get from BC to Clemson. Very good young man, talented young player. Popped out wide to Holland Rula. Rula looks to play it in. Maybe that was a shot. Either way, it's out of play. So Chuck, we're about 20 minutes in here. What do you make of Wake's, let's say, choppy start to this match?
Well, bend, don't break. I think they realized Clemson are hungry. They haven't had performances that they had hoped to start this season off. So coming off a UNC loss, they knew they were going to get the best of Clemson in that initial 15 to 20 minutes. So it's understand that that's what they're going to throw the kitchen sink at you. They're going to attack, be ready for it, and then rebound. And here it is, the ball in behind. Calvin Harris, slick, nice little cut. But Alvaro Gomez comes back, recovers, and makes the timely challenge.
I mentioned them being hungry. Wake is opportunity maybe for Barber. Barber charges right through Tubbs. No call there. It's a lot of contact. Mentioned Clemson being hungry, and they are 1-5 when Wake is number 1 in the nation, and they've played them. So they've had their opportunities, have not been able to capitalize them against the Demon Deacons. We'll see if that changes the script, flips the script here tonight. They've had a good start to this match, the Tigers have. How do they get that man 21 on the ball more? Him and Harris have not been very loud. And when they are, Harris, the other winger, this team is a handful, but we haven't really called their name much at all.
Well, you try and get Machop Chol and Calvin Harris to kind of check in, draw those outside backs with them, and then spin and play them into space.
Johnson out to Gomez. Brighton lays it off to Mayaka. Pings it out to Asensio. Fernandez Salvador on the ball. Brighton able to turn, find Smith. Harris 1v1 with Gomez. You said it, it's tough for Gomez. He starts to skip by him. Early ball played in. Holcomb off the chest. He's able to corral it, but Prente brings it down. Clemson wins the foot race out. Mike Noonan maybe looking to make some changes 20 or so minutes into this match. We cross into the bottom of the hour here on ACC Network alongside Charlie Davies. I'm Dallin Cuff. We're at historic Riggs Field as the #1 team in the nation, Wake Forest, looking to stay undefeated against Clemson, who were the #3 team ranked team in the nation until last week when they lost to UNC. It's been a strong match early, a good match early on here. Christian Escorbano, the freshman, just picks up a yellow. That is important because he on that right wing, it's in right back spot dealing with Cromartie Smith and or Grayson Barber. They're dynamic wingers on both squads. So that's important to see that yellow go in early in this match. Marks has to punch it. It's a weak punch. Ball still bouncing around. Parente on it. Finds Rula in quite a bit of space. Closed down quickly. Rula might be able to get in line. He does. Drives it across. Just too tall, but falls to Chope. Chol, excuse me. Chol takes a shot. Some appeals for a handball from Jake Swellen, but it will be a corner off of Justin Malou. First corner of the match for Wake. Machop Chol, one of those talented wingers, senior, born in the Sudan, came from Tucker, Georgia to Winston-Salem. Third in the team in points last year. 2018, I should say. First in assists last year, third team All-ACC. Bobby Muse says when he's on, this team is a different animal. Outswinging ball. Might fall to Calvin Harris. Out just past Chol. Wake gaining a little bit of possession.
Down, Wake Forest are trying to take the steam out of the game, slow it down. They saw the success UNC had, where they were able to disrupt Clemson, keep the ball in their attacking half, swing it side to side, slow it down, and Clemson struggled with that. So this is typically the game plan we're going to see for the rest of the match.
Mayaka and Parente, two of the best in the business we showed you before the match, tangling in midfield. Fernandez Salvador spun, and Escorbano is going to pick up another foul. Freshman. Played quick. Up to Barber. Tubbs comes across. His freshman counterpart reads it beautifully.
Turn forward.
Charlie, Wake's a team that is used to having the ball 60% of matches a lot of times, sometimes upwards of that. But they've not been able to possess the ball that much in this match. How difficult is it for a team that used to playing with the ball to play without it?
Yeah, it takes some getting used to, but it's all part of being flexible and understanding the ebbs and flows of the match. sometimes it's your day, sometimes it's not, especially on the road, playing against a hungry Clemson. The expectation is if we don't have the ball, this is how we get organized and compact and structured and still make it difficult for Clemson, because they're not going to control the game for 90 minutes. We're going to get on the ball, and when we do, that's when we can hurt them.
Smith brings it down on his chest, tries to square up, but Benalcazar was right there with him.
Go, Jake. Go, Jake.
Mayaka brings it down, knocks it out wide to Gomez. Gomez tried to nutmeg Rula. Was able to knock it out. Nice turn by Smith. Lays it off to Brighton. Parente knocks down the pass. Gomez charging into the box. Tries to play it across, knocked out for another corner.
Well done by Gomez to get on the ball, try and get into attacking half, generate a cross. It's the work rate. Everyone's just battling. Gomez comes in, good touches, and then takes it himself. Makes a decision, I'm going to get in and try and get a cross off. You would like to see James Brighton making a harder run into the 6-yard box, as well as Kamarni Smith, and get those runs layered into the box.
Third corner of the match for Clemson. And Alvaro Gomez is down. Sophomore from Spain getting his third start of the campaign, but the first one at the right back spot. Seeming a little frustrated right now. Usually in the midfield for this club. Mike Noonan said he wanted to possess the ball more. They wanted to have more of the ball and thought he could really help. The other right backs, John Martin, Enrique Montana may be better defensively suited, but not on the ball. So Gomez gets the start, but he's down in pain now.
And Dallin, it all comes back to the rigorous schedule that Clemson's had to have through preseason with COVID and isolation and disruptions, and not really getting the proper preseason. So when you don't have the matches, the friendlies to get into a rhythm and build your strength in your legs, and now all of a sudden you're thrown into a rigorous schedule to play, top opponents in the ACC. It's hard. It's hard on the body, and now we're starting to see these small injuries pop up here and there. Here he is. He's pushing on the hamstring, and then you see all of that strength and using your body to try and get into a position. The quickness, it takes a toll on your hamstrings, your groins, your quads.
You mentioned this match actually was initially scheduled for September 18th, but because of COVID issues and the contact tracing program at Clemson within the soccer team, that game was pushed back to today. They had a number of practice and training sessions with 8, 9, 10 guys there. So to your point, the fitness levels for all these guys are not quite there. As John Martin has checked in, the aforementioned John Martin, for Gomez. But this team is not really where Mike Noonan thought they would be, given all the stuff that's going on outside of soccer. Unfortunately, a lot of teams are having to deal with this. It's just a reality of our situation right now in society. Smith to take the third corner of the match. Looking back post again, this time for Ogren. Bold play. There was Tubbs that got his head on it. The center back played it back to Pannenberg. Poor distribution, turnover. Mayaka stepping into some space. They don't find him. Johnson on it. He's got a little room. He'll give it a go to the corner. Deflected up. Still loose. Eventually cleared out by Escribano.
That's the second turnover from Andrew Pannenberg. He's got to be smarter with the ball. In this case, I would tell my keeper, just boot it. Send it long.
Mayaka riding a challenge. He goes down. David Erbacher, the official, says, get up. Good no call there, Chuck?
Yeah, it's a good no call. There was contact that put him off balance, but he kept going, and then once he lost the control of the ball, kind of flopped to the floor. So, good no call.
John Martin, as we mentioned before, the junior from Clemson, South Carolina, local product in the game. Ogren able to settle it, and knock it out to Asensio. Nice touch by Barber. He was in some trouble. Crafty. Oh, clever. Barber looking to get in line. Plays it off of Tubbs. Another corner. Fourth the match coming up.
Challenge, Dallin. Tubbs making timely challenge after timely challenge. Really reading the game well. I've been impressed with his responsibility so far.
And you see him in the middle of your screen, right in front of Pannenberg, 32 black. Garrison Tubbs, a freshman, part of the Atlanta United Academy product. Played with ATL 2, Atlanta United 2, and USL. Bobby Muse noted that he and Escorbano were Academy products that played USL games, playing with grown men, understanding the pressure, understanding the complexity of the game, has really helped them come in here and get starting spots early in their career. Fernandez Salvador airmails it.
Mayaka on the ball, plays to the feet of Salvador, does a cheeky little flick. It's the awareness, though. And then he continues to be involved in the play. And now it's quick passing, one touch, two touch, trying to pull Wake Forest and create gaps. They've done a good job. They just haven't had that finished product.
And Wake Forest making a number of changes right now. David Rona comes in up top. Number 13 comes in for Kyle Holcomb. Rona's coming off a game where he scored back-to-back games, scored in UAB, had 2 for NC State. First time he's ever had back-to-back goals. Jose Kajima comes in for Christian Escorbano, the freshman we were just talking about. One of the freshmen we've been talking about, I should say. He's also a freshman from Yokohama, Japan. And Omar Hernandez comes in for Jake Swollen, more of a creative midfielder, the sophomore, 17 in the middle of the pitch. Former national Gatorade Player of the Year out of Georgia.
That's good for the confidence of John Martin, who just checked in at right back for Clemson. He struggled early on against UNC, and so to see him get on the ball, connect that first pass, that just builds you up. And so you feel like, okay, I'm gonna pick up the slack and really deliver now. The ball gets played to Justin Louis, takes a long touch. He's got his head up. He's looking for a pass, and Calvin Harris just comes through him. Clear foul. Lucky not to get a yellow card.
I was going to ask you that. I mean, Malou almost kind of like baited him. Looked like he slowed down and leaned toward him as a veteran move, and then that was a hefty challenge.
Yeah, it's a yellow card challenge in my book.
Mine too, for what it's worth. Nothing, actually, is what the answer is.
He's just late. He doesn't make contact with the ball, and it's a little bit reckless. So for me, that's a yellow card.
Oh, there's Calvin Harris back on the ball now. Back to Pannenberg. Benalcazar. Suzuki on the ball, trying to find some options. Kajima's first touch. Steps past Fernandez Salvador to the midfield, finds Chol. Rona can't keep it in play. Sunday's best this week will feature a Tobacco Road tussle. Duke UNC Tangle and Field Hockey at noon, followed by a women's soccer match between Miami and Pittsburgh at 1:30. Then it's a women's volleyball doubleheader. Number 11 Pitt, three-time reigning ACC champ, squares off against number 5 Notre Dame, and Virginia takes on Virginia Tech and Blacksburg to round out our Sunday best, all right here on ACCN and the ESPN app. That is a great day of sports right there. Smith brings it down, looking for Barber. Didn't connect. Now Barber's going to get on. He's got options in the box. Cuts it back. Now floats it back. Post opportunity. Right there. Save Pannenberg! On his doorstep. Johnson plays it in. Almost falls for Barber. Kojima, a lot of contact, no call. He's got his head up. Hernandez wants the ball in the middle. It's not played to him. And then Barber just took out Kojima. That was a retaliation and not really a smart one. Barber now getting a yellow card in back-to-back matches.
Grayson Barber, Kojima. Kojima just takes a stronger position, uses his body well. That frustrates Grayson Barber, and you see he's edging closer, closer, and the longer Kojima waited on the ball, it allowed Grayson Barber to retaliate. And it's a yellow card every day of the week.
Rule able to keep it in play to Harris. Parente stepping forward. Rula again. Rhoda making the run in front. Nice cutback. Eventually just muscled off the ball by Kamarni Smith.
Good hold-up play from Brighton there.
Good ball by Johnson up to Smith. Gets a cut inside to his left foot. Fernandez Salvador was arriving there, but Parente was on it all the way to break it up. Talk about Clemson's fitness, or guys trying to get healthy. They've only made one sub, Chuck, out of injury. Alvaro Gomez coming out for John Martin. How do you feel about Mike Noonan really riding this group right now, the way they're playing?
I love it. I love it because you're trying to get a consistent level of fitness within this starting group. This is your A team, and so you feel like you got a good base playing UNC, UAB, South Carolina. You got 3 matches in. Guys got 60, 70, 80 minutes under their belt. Now it's, okay, let's take it up another notch. We're playing against Wake Forest. We lost against UNC, a game that we felt we shouldn't have lost. We were a better team. So let's get going.
Speaking of get going, great opportunity here.
This is the big opportunity. James Brighton finds himself in a great position between the center backs, unmarked, and Pannenberg. Great reaction save, but you gotta finish your opportunities. That's one opportunity that James Brighton's not gonna sleep well at night when you think about, man, this was a chance really to get us going on the right direction.
Big save by Pannenberg to keep this thing at zeros. He was the All-ACC third keeper last year. Pannenberg for the Deacons. George Marks, who just played the ball out for Clemson, was the All-ACC second team. First team was Colin Shuttler from UVA, who had the best defense in the nation.
And also for James Brighton, you got to have a short-term memory if you're a striker. Don't let that missed opportunity eat you up all game. It's got to be in and out. And also think, okay, I did a good job. What were the positives? Well, the positives were I found myself in between the 2 center backs unmarked. Good movement in the box. I met the ball, and I put it on target. Those were the positives. Now, the last part, which is really the easiest part because he did all the hard work, is just guiding it away from the keeper.
Spoken like a true striker, Charlie Davies, former BC Eagle striker, as our national team striker as well for years, in the late aughts, I should say.
he's also, just getting back into the swing of things, right? He's missed a ton of time throughout preseason. Now it's like, okay, we're going to push him. This is his first start. Let's push his minutes. Let's get him. That opportunity could have come down to not being effective enough just due to a little lack of concentration. That comes down to fatigue.
Ball goes out off of John Martin. And Bobby Muse making a couple more substitutions right now. Or will he wait till after the corner? But he's got some guys. No, here they come. Kyle McCurley steps in the match for Takuma Suzuki. More of a defensive-minded midfielder. Curley is McCurley, hard worker. Also, Chase Oliver coming in the game. I know you like him. He's an electric guy for Wake Forest. And for Clemson, Brandon Parrish coming in for James Brighton. You just mentioned Brighton. They wanted to see Mike Noonan told us how long he could go. Well, he's gone 40 minutes in his first start. That's pretty impressive. Hernandez plays it in. Looking back post, 2 Deeks there. Neither could control it. Omar Hernandez on the ball. And poorly played ball out of play. Here's Chase Oliver. Chase is I know, Charlie, I know you love him, a dynamic winger. He had 2 goals against Pitt in their exhibition game. He's still trying to figure out college soccer, but what do you find so dynamic about him?
His attitude to the game. You saw when he scored that brilliant volley earlier in the season, you just saw the fire he plays with. Attitude. He wants to prove himself. And it's difficult. Coming into a Wake Forest team that's established, you may be a freshman, but you got to play at a consistent level. Bobby Muse really holds everyone to a high standard. And so I think for a freshman, it's a rude awakening when you come between the lines and you're like, wow, these guys are playing at this level every single minute, every single day, and it pushes you to be better. But there is that growing period where you have to learn how to deal with yourself, how to be a professional, how to approach practice, games, and in your studies.
Harris, low ball played in, cleared out by Malou.
Did you go through that adjustment period, Dallin, as a ball player in college?
We'll come back to that in a second, and the short answer is yes.
And Parente plays it to the feet of Calvin Harris, who takes a good touch in front of him to find David Rona making that near post run. But Malou did a good job of reading it and then getting there before Rona could get on the end of it.
Hernandez trying to shield the ball. Martin steps, can't get rid of it. You mentioned if I went through it. Here's my example. I played in the Ivy League. In the Ivy League at that time, we had no conference tournament. You had to win the league. My first Ivy League game, so it's 14 games like a tournament. Our seniors all hyped up. I'm the starting point guard. He's like, let's go, let's go. I'll come back in a second. Opportunity potentially for shot save by Marks. A first real attempt. And poor distribution by Marks, but he got the save. More from Wake Forest. Hernandez not fouled. Said it was clean on Camarnie Smith tracking back. Little 1-2 played. Smith's in some room. Out to Barber. Got some numbers. Smith streaking into the box. Barber eventually plays it. Headed. Pannenberg is there. But Brandon Parrish's first entry into the game.
And that's great work by Camarnie Smith. We talked about it with him before the UNC game and said, how can you impact the game if you're not being played in the space? If you're not scoring goals, how can you be a bigger impact for Clemson? And he said, I got to work harder on both sides of the ball. Use my defense to generate offense sometimes. And that's exactly what he did in that instance. He checked into the midfield, caused the turnover, and then busted his butt to get into the box, to be a runner, to draw some attention to himself, to create more space at the top of the 18. So well done from Camarnie Smith.
And Brandon Parrish is the guy that was the beneficiary of that run you were talking about with Smith, because he got his head on it. Freshman, 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year out of Tennessee. Getting some minutes in a big game. And just to finish the point, long story short, when I was a freshman that first Ivy League game, I didn't realize, Chuck, how different that was, how different the environment was. The crowd was louder. Everything was more intense. Everything was more on the line. And it took me, like, I don't know, 8 or 9 games to really understand how every single possession is so much more magnified. It's the adjustment I think all freshmen go across all sports for the most part. It takes a while.
Well said.
Clip forward. Rona trying to run onto it. Lays it off to Harris. Heavy first touch. He could have had an opportunity, but couldn't control it.
You know, my first college goal was against Mike Noonan's Brown.
Oh, there you go. Sure, I think you've actually told him that before. I'm not sure he enjoyed reminiscing about it as much as you just did right there. The big smile on your face.
Yeah, year to year.
Mike Noonan, former head coach at Brown, New Hampshire, Wheaton, and of course now here he's at Clemson. That was in reverse order, but still.
Great man.
Fantastic coach. Yeah, great coach.
Awesome guy.
336 career wins. That is a lot of W's. 12th in active head coaches in Division I soccer. I'm sure he really wants 337 right now. But it looks like we're going to go into break 0-0 here. May not speak too soon. As Calvin Harris draws a foul. And two of the most talented teams in the nation. Minimal opportunities, a lot of battle in the midfield. Chuck, what are your thoughts as we are in the first 45 at 0-0?
Clemson pressed, and they generated opportunities and chances, but just weren't clean in the final third. If they continue this, it's going to be a challenge physically because they don't have the match fitness to play at that level for 90 minutes. So it's going to be interesting to see the balance in the second half.
Well, it was an impressive bounce back after they lost on the road at UNC. This Clemson team trying to take down Wake, the #1 team in the nation. When we come back, we'll take a look around the ACC and a big weekend slate. Back here in historic Riggs Field, 0-0 between the home team, Clemson Tigers, and the #1 team in the nation, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Charlie Davies, Dallin Cuff here. Wake is known, Chuck, for their offense, slick passing, controlling the ball, but defensively, they were equal to the task as the Tigers really controlled this game.
They showed up, and Kyle Holcomb using that intensity, the drive, that's what they want him on the field for, his work ethic, and also it shows off, it rubs off on the rest of the team.
You see, guys, two young center back, young center back, young right back, young squad really out there right now for Wake, holding their own against a very dynamic Clemson team playing with a lot of fight. As Philip Mayaka ridden off the ball by Takuma Suzuki. He looked for a foul there in the box, and Chuck rightfully said that was not. But Clemson did create some opportunities, couldn't capitalize on them, Charlie.
Off of set pieces, they had several chances to take the lead in this match, and it was defense turning chances. Here it is, the press was effective. They generated opportunities that just weren't clean. They were missing that final touch.
Andrew Pannenberg, the keeper, stood tall. This was the biggest opportunity. Floated into the middle to James Brighton, the redshirt sophomore. Rose up, couldn't get a ton on it. Pannenberg gets a big mitt there. That's what kept it 0-0. That was late in the first half. And that's where we are right now, 0-0 at the break. And Clemson has been on the front foot, and the stats reflect that. 3-1 in shots, 9-3, and shots on goal and control. Chuck, for each team, Clemson in the second half, what do they have to do, and how does Wake find a way to grab a hold back of this game?
Wake just has to figure out a way to push their lines high up the field and get their wingers involved, and that's switching play. Switch the point of attack, allow Machopcho and Calvin Harris to stay on the touch line, use the width of the pitch, and for Clemson, it's getting in those opportunities and finishing. If they had Mohamed Saeed, who's probably what they're thinking about right now, man, that's our goal scorer. So James Brighton, continue to stick with it, get in those spots, and then finish your chances.
Mentioned Mohamed Saeed. He played only in the first game of this campaign. He scored 2 goals against South Carolina. Drew a penalty to get their 3rd goal. They've only scored 2 goals since that match, and he did not play in the UAB game where they won 2-0 and they struggled to finish their chances. He did not play in the UNC game. They lost 1-0. This young man, Charlie, is he that critical, or is this team just still getting on the right page given the COVID issues, given some changes they've had to make?
Well, he's a game changer, but again, this team just needs to get fit again and get into a rhythm. Mohamed Saeed is the player that takes them over the top. From being a good team, competing for the best top spot in the ACC, to winning a national championship. That's the player you need at the tip of the spear to finish off the game.
And this is a Wake team last year that was historically good on offense. They scored 70 goals, led the nation They returned 41 of those 70s, but they did lose Robbie Robinson. The #1 pick in the draft went to Inter Miami, was the National Player of the Year, was the ACC Male Athlete of the Year. So they're still trying to figure out how to replace him and get more dynamic offensively as we are underway in the second half here. Wake Forest in black going from left to right. Clemson in their striped orange and white unis going right to left. Ball played back to George Marks. In Plays coming up next on ACC Network. This is Kelsey Riggs, TJ Manuel hosting the show. A lot of fun, a lot of laughs. Was there a conspiracy with Coach Bombay and the Mighty Ducks? I don't know what that means, Chuck, but stay tuned and find out. Also, we've got a mystery guest from the reigning now NBA champions LA Lakers joins. Check it out. Ball played in the middle.
There's no conspiracy.
I don't even know what that means, but I might watch to find out. Gordon Bombay, one of the great movie characters in the history of sports movies.
They use the width, and Grayson Barber whips in a delightful ball that just misses James Brighton, but it's put on with pace across the box. No one gets on the end of it. You need a back post runner there.
Pretty much the starting group back in for Clemson. Same for Wake Forest. Minus a couple changes. Omar Hernandez, 17, the middle of your pit. Middle screen is still on the pitch. Machoke Chol Rejun joined one of the starters, now on the ball. Looking to take Asensio in line. Gets a shot, a save, Marks. Jose Kajima still in the game too. A lot of guys that finished that half. A couple of them still on the pitch for Wake Forest.
First
Cal McCurley on the ball being one of them.
Top Chol open up his gate and get going.
Yeah, when he gets in full stride, there's almost nobody to keep with him.
Machop Chol, they switch the point of attack, using him on the touchline, and then he sees he's going direct. Confident, step over, and just tries to take a shot. There wasn't an angle, so George Marks just had to stand tall. Did a good job of preventing that from hitting the back of the net or coughing up a rebound inside the 6. But Dallin, you asked me the question, how do they change the game? It's getting him involved and getting Calvin Harris involved.
These are two wingers. Harris was starting to make the run down that opposite wing. 22 in black and 21, the bottom of your screen there, Machoke Chol.
Because Clemson or Wake Forest do a good job of switching the point of attack, that's going to open up the game because Clemson, they swarm the ball. When they press, they really go after it, and they have a lot of guys that just kind of get attracted to the ball. They ball watch, and that's how you can carve them up and open them up is by using the width.
Fernandez Salvador on it, looking to ping it out wide to Asensio. He asked a little too much of him, and Kajima's there. Play it back to Chol. Curley, nice ball between the lines, finds Holcomb. Ogren just clears it out. Doesn't go out of play, excuse me. Johnson, head up. Nice read out of the back by Wake, and on the run now. Looking for the early ball in, looking for Holcomb, but Ogren's there. A lot of pressure. Wake showing a little more energy in this to start this half than they did the first half.
And Benalcazar, the center back, getting into an advanced position, trying to find Holcomb making a run in the box. But Oscar Ogren has had phenomenal positioning all night.
Referee says play on, early ball play, and Smith in the back post, and it's a goal! Clemson up 1-0, and #1 in the nation.
Dallin, this is exactly what we talked about before the match. Getting your influential wingers involved in the game. Grayson Barber, Kamarni Smith, some of the nation's top players, getting on the ball and being active. They've really taken the initiative all match. Grayson Barber, times is well run. He bends it in, Callum Smith plays him into space, and it was a mismatch there. Benalcazar cannot keep up with Grayson Barber. He stays on his feet and then finds the back post run of Kamarni Smith. He gets taken down, but he's like, I'm free, I'm getting back up. The tenacity and also the awareness to know back post Kamarni Smith is all alone. All you have to do in that situation is just let the ball hit your foot. You don't have to kill it. It's gonna tap and just keep your body over the ball so it stays under the crossbar. Well done to take the lead, 1-0 Clemson.
I'm going to do something I rarely do, too. Praise the official. David Erbacher said play on, because Barber was just taken down by Benalcazar, but he played on, as you mentioned, in space. They did not see the back post run by Smith. He's there on the doorstep. He finishes coolly, gets his second goal of the campaign, and it's a big one. Tigers up 1-0 on Wake Forest. That's bad news for the Demon Deacons for a number of reasons. They're down 1-0, but under Mike Noonan, when he's at Clemson and his team score first, 99, 8, and 6. They hardly ever cede leads under Mike Noonan's crew when they score first. Now, Wake Forest is one of those teams to get that W last year. Let's see if history repeats itself.
Well, Clemson's the team, Dallin, that doesn't sit on a lead. They're up 1-0. They still continue the press. And Wake Forest, they're now put in a position where they have to move up higher up the field. They have to take chances and risks. And a typical Clemson team then punishes you, and it's 2-0, and it's 3-0. And they're one of those teams that sometimes they don't realize that, we need to slow the game down and waste the clock, because they're always aggressive. They're looking to continue to stay on the front foot.
Kamarni Smith put them on their front foot right now. His 20th goal of his career in Clemson colors. He was a second-team All-American last year, first-team All-ACC. Leading guy in terms of points returning on this team. From a,
Down, he's hungry to make the jump. Yeah. You know, he wants to be a professional. One of his close friends, Robbie Robinson, they talk often, they play FIFA together, and Robbie tells him the experience of being a pro, the ins and outs of the game. And as a player, you want to crave to be on that same level.
Here's an opportunity potentially for the Demon Deacons. Machop Chol tries to cut it back. Finds Hernandez. He couldn't get much on his shot. Rolls right into the hands of Marks. That was an opportunity. Again on a Mayaka turnover in the midfield. Led to an odd man break the other way.
It's rare to see Mayaka not have a great game and Clemson still have success. And it's due to them putting in a complete team performance with the press.
Actually deflected off of Johnson. Goes out for a Demon Deacons throw. Mayaka plays it forward. Parente continues his run. Hernandez goes the other way, though. Hernandez slide rule pass, finding Harris. Good recovery by Malou. Out for a corner. Wake Forest, Clemson players were appealing that it went off of Harris.
And Omar Hernandez sees the pass, sees the run, but Justin Malou anticipates it. And Mike Noonan talked about his influence coming in to replace Malik Mbai in the center of the pitch, being a leader, making the smart decisions. And that was a timely intervention just because of his ability to anticipate that ball.
In swinging ball played, marks off his line. Back to McCurley. He clips it in, but no real danger, but unnecessarily John Martin played it. Keeps Wake on the front foot. Hernandez. Ball played in. Joel! Over the bar. And Mark's letting his back line hear about it, saying that ball was going out. Let's not give them opportunities they didn't work for.
And down, for me, it starts with the punch. That's a player I think George Marks can keep the ball, catch it, and not give up another opportunity. Machop Chol comes in, but Oscar does a good job of getting his body into Machop Chol so he doesn't have a clean header at goal.
Fernandez Salvador tried a little back heel. Tubbs over to Rula. Harris stepping into space. He's lining up a shot. Drives it low and wide. How do you feel about this response from Wake Forest since they got scored on?
It's better. They're getting higher up the field. The wingers are coming inside. Calvin Harris says, you know what? I'm going to come inside, try and be unpredictable, because typically you see him along the touchline taking players 1v1 and trying to generate a cross. Have Calvin Harris come inside, and then you allowed your outside backs, Rua, to get higher up the field because he's going to be left unmarked.
Smith might have an opportunity. Tries to play it up to Barber. A lot of contact. Eventually ushered out for a goal kick. Excuse me, that was Brighton. Saturday, college football triple-header. Have right here for you on ACC Network in the ESPN app. Pittsburgh squares off against De'Ara King, number 13 Miami. Both those teams coming off of L's, need a W. Then Virginia takes on Wake Forest. And at 8, number 23 Virginia Tech hosts Boston College in Blacksburg on our ACC Network matchup presented by Geico. BC coming off a wild win last week, Chuck. Pitt kicker Alex Kessman missed an extra point that would have sent it to double OT, but your boys got the W.
What about that, huh?
Hey, Jeff Hafley's done a good job there, man. Phil Jerkovic, good quarterback.
Oscar comes in late, but the foul was before that challenge that knocked Machop Chol off balance.
Wake has maintained they will still try to play out of the back through the press. And Hernandez pass left short there, turns it over to Johnson. Holcomb trying to make the run, battle Malou, no call, still battling, ends up Wake ball.
And that's Holcomb's game. Just be a pest on the defensive side of the ball.
McCurley, top of the box, pass takes Machol wide, and he keeps it in play. He's got Kojima to his left. Kojima's pass is off, pulls Wake back. Heard the band playing. About 1,000 fans here at historic Riggs Field. That's the capacity that can be here. See their Tigers up 1-0 right now over Wake Forest as Machop Chol moves forward. Strikes it! It's in the back of the net! What a shot by Chol! The equalizer for the Demon Deacons!
Machop Chol showing up for the Demon Deacons. We talked about his influence, his presence in the attacking half. When he can get involved, he comes inside, Clemson does not follow him, and then he takes his space. And he lets one fly. It's dipping into the far corner. George Marks doesn't have a chance. The defense gave him space, they dropped, and then he just took the shot. And that's what makes you unpredictable. That's what can change the game. Big time finish from Machop Chol.
Making something out of nothing. Just stepping forward. Nobody stepped on the ball, up on the ball, and the senior, all ACC third team member last year, scores his 3rd goal of the year, 13th of his career, to tie this match up. And Wake has had a tremendous response since going down 1-0 to the Gracer for the Camarnie Smith goal. Chol again on the ball.
Dallin, and this is where fatigue can play a big part in this match, because Clemson have been pushing, and they don't have their legs under them yet. They're still growing in their match fitness. So once you continue to keep pressing, you're gonna hit that line where the fatigue starts to set in. You lose your legs, you lose concentration, and so you have to have that balance of when we want to keep the ball, let's slow it down, get our legs back, to okay, Wake Forest are deep in their half. Now we can press. Now we try and force them into a bad situation or making a bad decision and pounce on them. So Clemson have to be smart at this point in the game, because this is when Wake Forest can take it up a notch. They've sat back. They've been able to withstand the pressure. This goal gives them life, and now they're going to start to get on the front foot.
And Philip Mayaka just went in the book. We'll take a look at. He's been involved in a few challenges. That one looks like did he go over the ball, Charlie? I'm not sure what went on there to warrant the yellow.
I think he just caught Holcomb late, and so over the course of the match, he's been involved in a number of challenges, fouls. And his time was up. He was ready for the yellow. He earned it.
A couple subs now coming in for Clemson here. Dylan Sullivan makes an appearance, the sophomore from Wappinger Falls. Still getting his legs under him with some health issues they had preseason. He comes on for Luis Felipe Fernandez. Almost rolls through to Chol. Brandon Parrish also came on for Camarnie Smith, re-entering the game as well. He made a cameo in the first half. With about 6 minutes to go, the 2-time Gatorade Player of the Year in Tennessee. And David Rona stepped in for Wake. Stepped in up top for Kyle Holcomb. Rona coming off back-to-back games where he scored a goal. He had a brace against North Carolina State, also scored against UAB, 13 in black. There's Rona there fighting, comes up with the ball, drives it in low, and on the back end it's Harris, but there was a foul before it. Charlie Asensio got his body there, and David Erbacher said that was a foul on Harris to make a play on the ball.
But Malou misses the challenge, and Rona has had his head up, tries to find Calvin Harris. Asensio does a good job of cutting in front of Calvin Harris, forcing him to get fouled. So well done by Charlie Asensio on the positioning.
Charlie Asensio, third team All-ACC last year. Excuse me, second team All-ACC last year. All-ACC freshman in the 18 campaign. A guy that Mike Noonan will tell you doesn't get talked about enough at the left back on this team, especially that high-flying offense last year. But he gets up, he gets back. He's like the Steve Cherundolo of the Tigers crew.
Great comparison, Dallin. Well done.
Sometimes, you know, Chuck, I can give you a good one.
You pulled that one out of the bag.
Forward steps Rona. Pinged out wide, looking for Chol. Plays a header in early. Nobody really there. Jose Kajima trying to step out of trouble. Couldn't do it. Turned it over. Clemson trying to play in transition. So the second, Charlie, you mentioned fitness. Again, for folks who are just joining us, Clemson had gone through some COVID issues and contact tracing issues mid-September. This game was supposed to be the first fixture in the season back on September 18th. It was pushed to today. They had training sessions with 9, 10 guys there. A lot of guys out, still trying to get back to full fitness. And in this second stanza here, Wake has really controlled this game. What has been the biggest difference why the Demon Deacons, outside of the goal, after that, their response, they've controlled this game?
Well, you could see right there in that press, Clemson are pushing numbers forward, but because they're a step late, the fatigue has set in. Now Wake Forest are able to build out of the back. That they're a step late, they can make those passes. They have time and space. You see Omar Hernandez is checking deep, and he has room. He has time to turn and pick out those Wake Forest players, because now you have a big split between the attacking half and the defensive half of Clemson.
Calvin Harris, no, flag goes up.
There are too many gaps in this Clemson team right now, and that's due to fatigue. They have to get compact. You press as a team, and then you also drop as a team.
It's the first offside of the match.
Oh,
Ooh,
Calvin Harris was on. He was on.
Tough call, because that could have been a dangerous opportunity, but back come the Tigers the other way. Again, these two teams were picked in the preseason to be 1 and 2 in the ACC. Clemson just edging out Wake by 1 vote. Callum Johnson on it. BC transfer, turns, gets his head up. Out wide to John Martin. Martin, ball played in. He's got options, but Garrison Tubbs beats everybody there. Back to Martin. Low ball played in.
Dallin, don't you think Garrison Tubbs has been impressive?
He is impressive. 6'3" freshman, Brunswick, Georgia, Atlanta United product. Reads the game well. He's got great size, got good feet.
And you look at some of the players that have come out of Wake Forest in that position. Let's talk about Mark McKenzie right now, the center back for Philadelphia Union, who is arguably the best center back in the league right now, who's destined for a move to Europe this winter. You look at Iko Paro, who's the MLS Defender of the Year last year. And then I look at Lyle Adams, who was a standout at Wake Forest, another player who made the transition from MLS, from Wake to MLS. All players who have pedigree. And when I look at Garrison Tubbs, I see the potential. He has what it takes to make that jump to Major League Soccer eventually. So again, it's just continuing to progress.
Holland Rule, a low ball played in, bounces back to Chol, the goal scorer. He's 1v1 with Gomez. Quick shot, wide.
The cross, again, it's Rula, and then it pops out to Machapcho. He's got a quick inside out, just tries to create an inch of space to get that shot off. In that instance, I like when you go inside out and then you shoot between the defender's legs to the far post, because they're always going to stretch out and try and block it with that left foot. So it's almost like you have a nice screen in front of the keeper and he never sees it coming.
You mentioned some of the pros. You mentioned Mark McKenzie, obviously Iko Para. But Joey Desart, a guy on this team that left last year, as well as Alistair Johnson down in Nashville. But Bobby Muse just told us how important Desart was to the central midfield of this group, because he was just so consistent, and not having him there is something they're trying to figure out, as that's probably going to be yellow coming Omar Hernandez's way as he
on Sullivan. And for those of you who don't know, that's Tyler Adams' brother.
Tyler Adams, a great midfielder and sometimes right back for RB Leipzig in Germany. Right now, U.S. men's national team budding star at 21. Sullivan goes down hard there, and a yellow card earned by Hernandez.
Yep, late. No play on the ball. Automatic yellow card.
But that graphic we showed you was MLS players, so obviously Jack Harrison's got to be the most famous Wake alum right now in terms of success in the Premier League, playing for Leeds United, scored against Liverpool in their season opener. It's a tremendous success story for college soccer, to say the least.
Charlie Asensio, who's done a good job of playing the balls down the line.
Johnson looking back post. Nothing there.
Come on, Chase.
Chase Oliver, you see 34 now, kind of leading the line. Mentioned him as a dynamic winger, but out there setting a little bit of their press, playing on the left wing with David Rona through the middle. Parente. Rona. Rula. Oliver making the run ahead. And he's off.
David Rona has done a good job of coming into the midfield for Wake Forest and combining. There's Oliver just a couple steps offside. They got the call right this time down.
Freshman from Kennesaw, Georgia. Atlanta United Academy product. We talked about Oliver a little bit in the first half, but just joined us. He scored 2 goals in the Pitt exhibition. Dynamic guy that has great ball skills and potential, but still a freshman learning how to bring it every single minute here. And in this critical game now tied at 1, see if he can rise to the challenge. Parrish stepping around, looking to play Smith. Doesn't come through. Almost falls to Barber. Sullivan pressing. Mentioned Clemson being not match fit. They're definitely making some subs here of some guys that don't have a ton of big game experience. So see how they handle this moment as well. Sullivan battling, and Martin, those two in those striped jerseys being 2 of those guys. No call as Oliver took it off of Sullivan. Hernandez loses possession to Mayaka. Barber now trying to ride the challenge.
Give him support, bro.
You see Barber turn around, guys. Please step up. He was looking for some help as he was battling. Mayaka now stepping forward, tried to play Barber. They were not on the same page. Just under 20 minutes to go here from historic Riggs Field. 1-1 between Clemson and Wake Forest. Alongside Charlie Davies, I'm Dallin Cuff here for the call. Clemson took the lead through a Kamarni Smith goal in the 51st minute of the match. And then Machop Chol equalized in the 59th minute for Wake Forest as they bounced back and responded quite well to tie this thing up at 1. Wake, the #1 team in the nation. Clemson was number 3 as of last week, and they're the reigning ACC regular season title holders. But they fell to UNC in a last-second header from Filippo Zatarin that knocked them from that perch. But they're trying to knock off the #1 team. May have an opportunity here. Goes to ground. Oliver again gets the ball, and Wake's going the other way. Callum Johnson. Out to John Martin on the overlap. A lot of space out there. He's got options in the box. And it goes off Holland Rula for a corner. The 6th of the match coming your way for Clemson. Not threatened off of any of these, though.
Callum Johnson gets on the ball, and then as soon as he does, Martin does a good job of seeing the space, making that delayed run, and then just trying to whip the ball in.
Marnie Smith to take the corner. He's got Parrish short. In swinging ball. Tubbs is there in good position and over for another corner.
I thought Pannenberg was going to come out for that, Dallin. The ball is played to the back post for Ogren, and Garrison Tubbs there does a good job of getting his body in between.
Callum Johnson takes the 7th corner of the match for Clemson. All these, for the most part, have been played to the back post, high arcing balls, regardless of which side they came from. In swinger. Here out Smith gives chase. David Urbacher says no call. Fans here at historic Riggs Field do not like it. A place where the Clemson has won 18 straight games. Good tackle by Jake Swollen. Mayaka took out Hernandez. Mayaka on a yellow.
David Rona just uses his body well. There's no foul there. He saw Malou coming in hard. And Omar Hernandez, he's shifty. He fakes right to get Mayaka to bite. Mayaka has his leg out and catches him for the foul. He's treading water down. We know how Mayaka likes to play. And so when he does take those lunges and chances at making those interventions, because he does it so well, sometimes he gets ahead of himself. And so when you're playing on a yellow and a player who likes to mix it up, it's risky, because if you go down a man against Wake, you really are put under extreme pressure.
Oh yeah. Takuma Suzuki just checked in. Sophomore midfielder. Came in for Omar Hernandez, the man who drew the foul against Mayaka. Suzuki floats it high. And out for a corner kick.
Suzuki does a good job of making himself available. Puts too much under it. That's a ball that I would expect George Marks to come out and just command his box, gobble it up. But he stays on his line. Now Wade get another chance.
Sam Parenti, out swinging ball to the back post. Opportunity falls, still loose.
Back post, the target is Garrison Tubbs. Good job of trying to redirect it towards goal, and then Clemson just converged. George Marks making himself big.
Nice touch by Kojima, but eventually he is dispossessed. Smith to Mayaka. Oh, well read there by Rula, but it was a good look by Mayaka. Rona charging through the midfield, lays it off nicely to Swollen. It's it out to Oliver. Rona continues his run. Rona cuts it back, flag stays down. Good tackle by Mayaka. Suzuki couldn't keep it in play.
Chase Oliver looked to go one-on-one. Rona from an offside position came back on quickly, and then Mayaka with a timely challenge. And Asensio looked like he was cramping right away as he crossed that.
See Asensio, mentioned before, second team All-ACC last year at the left back spot. A couple subs made while Asensio was down. James Brighton checked back into the match. Redshirt sophomore got the start. Their one true center forward left in this lineup, took out Callum Johnson. Johnson more of a midfield player. See how they reshuffle their squad. Now Luis Felipe Fernandez Salvador checked in for Dylan Sullivan. Fernandez Salvador, usually your starter in the midfield. Sullivan getting some spot minutes for the sophomore. Clemson was trying to play that quick. Wake Forest player came in and knocked it away. They were lobbying for a yellow card, none given by David Erbacher, man in the middle. Smith was trying to run the channel, ball played too much on it. John Martin's almost played exclusively in right back since Alvaro Gomez, sophomore from Spain, went down with a little bit of an injury. He was the starting right back in this match. Martin has played every minute since at that position. Happened about 25 minutes into the game.
And down, he's done a good job. He hasn't coughed up possession. He hasn't looked nervous. It's a good reaction from John Martin to come into this match, an even tougher opponent in Wake Forest, and be up for the challenge.
It's a great point, because in the UNC game he didn't have his best day, and Mike Noonan was a little worried about his confidence and how he'd handled being taken out of the starting lineup. Great response by the junior John Martin as Calvin Harris comes back into the game for Chase Oliver.
But sometimes, down, he talked about that being his first big challenge, UNC. He hasn't played a ton of minutes, so you got to get your feet wet. And sometimes there's that adjustment, and then you go through it, and you're like, okay, I'm better for it. I know what to expect. So for the next match, you're like, all right, time to strap the boots on it and get ready to go out there and have a good performance.
Jake Swollen, he'll give it a ride north of the goal.
Wake Forest using Machopcho on the other wing now, who comes inside, finds Jake Swollen, who we haven't seen a ton of in this match. So one way to get yourself going is taking a shot from deep, see if you can put it on target and maybe get something out of it.
Just so folks know that if you're not familiar with college soccer and you see some substitutions going in the second half, you can be subbed out of the match, and you have one re-entry to come back in the second half. So if a player subs out that has not been taken out yet, that does not mean his day is done. Off the turnover, Calvin Harris. Nice, well read by Oscar Ogren, out to clear it out. Fernandez Salvador out wide to Martin, appearing in the right side. Back to Fernandez Salvador, trying to get a shot off. Does. Wide.
They're getting into the attacking half. Grayson Barber checks into that soft spot, finds Felipe Fernandez Salvador, who takes the fake shot with the left, cuts inside. There is where the combination play. If you found Grayson Barber, who was still occupying that space alone, that's where you could have combined, take that one touch, or just play to his feet.
Nice job by Parrish to knock it forward. Falls to Fernandez Salvador again. He finds Smith. Smith might have an opportunity, cuts it back on his right. Still Smith. Lays it off. So much passing. Tips it fast. It's past Pannenberg. Fernandez Salvador with the toe-poke goal to put the Tigers up one.
And now it happens for Clemson. Camarney Smith again gets into a dangerous spot with a clever run inside the box. They're pushing. And then the ball into the box, the clever run, the cutback, he gets Wake Forest to dive, and then the cheeky little pass into the path of Felipe Fernandez Salvador, who does the rest. He takes a touch to set himself up, and then the toe poke to the far post. Well done by Clemson to get back into the game. You relinquish the lead, but you still continue to push. Tired legs and all. 2-1 Clemson.
Great finish by Fernandez Salvador to put his squad up. First goal of the season. Had a huge, huge time for this squad. His second goal of his career, first of the campaign. And Camarnie Smith, cool as you like. He got the first goal and there had the assist, the patience, the vision. And he didn't have much on it, but perfectly placed by Fernandez Salvador to give them the lead. All right, Chuck, so what's the approach for Clemson to try to hold on to this thing, and what does Wake try to do to equalize yet again?
Be compact, don't get stretched, because we've seen them when they press and they go gung-ho, they're a step late because they have that fatigue in the legs, and then they're allowing Wake Forest to build momentum and get into their half. So stay compact now. Waste time. Take longer on the throw-ins.
Well,
disrupt Wake Forest.
I believe that was Camarnie Smith that went down in the box as Bobby Muse is making a couple changes to his lineup. Jelani Forbes comes on from a chopped chole. That's somewhat of an interesting one. Maybe it's a quick breather. Forbes is a dynamic player that can play on the wing, but Machop Chol, one of your best scorers in the country. Excuse me, that's Justin Malou down, center back.
And oh, I know that signal. That's cramp. Give me a break. Let me stretch out. My legs are tired. I've been putting in a shift.
And Callum Johnson also came in for Brandon Parrish, a little more experienced. Parrish, the freshman, came out before. And another change, Kyle Holcomb comes back on for David Rona, their leading scorer, their two leading scorers. Both play that center forward position. Holcomb, the junior, back on for Rona. As Wake chases the equalizer under 10 minutes here from historic Riggs Field. Brighton making the run ahead. Well defended, though. Just taken from him. Parente trying to go quickly the other way. Looking for Harris. Nothing doing. Back to George Marks.
And Grayson Barber could play that ball into the channel for James Brighton, who was making a run. You don't have to even play deep, just into his path so he can run onto it and hold the ball up. This is when you got to use that big body, James Brighton. Allow him to slow the game, play to his feet, use his big body, and then bring the Clemson players into the attack.
Smolin on it. Pinged out wide to Harris. They've got a little bit of room out here. Charlie Asensio closes him down. Harris low ball. Just in time was Ogren. Prente Corrales keeps the pressure on. Suzuki. Prente drills it out wide. It's Jelani Forbes up there. And a quick sub again for Wake. Oscar Sears checks in the game. Another young guy here in a late game situation. Just to quickly remind you, Saturday, 10 a.m. The Huddle. Our guy Jordan Cornett runs the show. EJ Manuel, Eric Backlane, Mark Richt, getting you set for all the football action coming you Saturday. Got a triple header here on ACC and other great games across the ESPN family of networks here in the ACC. Check it out Saturday, 10 a.m. The Huddle. Parente.
You can play those switch balls on a dime down.
Hernandez looking to draw some contact. I know Parente's your boy. 15 in black. Silky smooth. The choke chole came back in the game for Takuma Suzuki, who's more of a defensive midfielder. So you see Wake has a number of attackers on. It's Camarnie Smith easily dispossessed, and Calvin Harris on the ball now as they chase the equalizer here. Just under 7 minutes to play. Forbes stepping forward, looking for Cho. Finds him. Cho looking for the cutback. Out for a corner. A lot of attacking talent on the pitch for Wake.
Kamari Smith into the open field, but Parente does a good job of closing him down. And Kojima, they weren't going to allow him to just get full ahead of steam into the attacking half.
Outswinging ball, and in comes Oscar Ogren, commanding the clearance. Clemson trying to attack quickly. James Brighton trying to run onto it, but Kojima's there first.
That's ambitious for James Brighton to get to. He's not known for his pace, and he doesn't have much in his tank. Give him a chance, play to his feet.
Nice work to take it off of Oscar Sears. Clemson doing a good job of holding the ball here as Johnson steps forward. Brighton lays it off for Mayaka. Knock out wide to Barber, but he'll slow it down.
Now this is good from Clemson. Keep it moving. Philip Mayaka, play to the open man, the easy pass to the right. You have 2-3 guys on the right side outnumbered where you can keep the ball.
Former ACC Freshman of the Year last year, first team All-ACC. Not having the best start to this campaign. He would have had a trial at Levante, who's a Liga team. Oh, could be over the top, marks is off his line. If it weren't for COVID, Mayaka could be playing professionally in Spain, or at least have the opportunity to trial with them, but that was disrupted. And the start to this season has been not as smooth as the first season was.
And I'm not willing to say it's a sophomore slump yet, but you know, he's a sophomore. You need to get going, and I think it comes with repetition, getting back into a rhythm. And for Philip Mayaka, also playing simple, because you had all this hype. You did really well as a freshman. Now you want to raise those expectations, and you put the pressure on yourself to succeed.
Forbes trying to get it forward. Can't. Poor first touch. Turned it over for Clemson. Pinged out wide to Forbes. Johnson trying to recover. Can't there as he goes. Can't as he goes to ground. Still Forbes looking to get end line. Plays it in. Might fall for Chol. Heavy first touch and lost the opportunity. Smith, good control. 1-2, steps forward. Barber on the wing. Smith and Brighton are with him. Still Smith making the run ahead. Barber still on it. Finally lays it off to Smith, but just a bit too late because he was offside.
At that point, if Grayson Barber doesn't play Kamari Smith into space, he's got to take the shot. Kamari Smith makes a good run. Ooh, that's tight. Maybe he's just off. But that's where you want to see Grayson Barber just take that shot with his left foot, try and bend it far post.
Let's see a couple different Clemson guys down. As we mentioned, they're still trying to work back to full match fitness. Malou's been on his back twice, stretching out his legs. Anytime there's a stoppage like this in college soccer under 5 minutes, if there's a sub, the winning team, or a situation like that, the clock will stop. As it did there. Oscar Ogren out to battle with Oscar Sears, and it is turnover.
The two Swedes going at it.
Oscar Sears from Stockholm, Ogren from Malmo. Barber charges down the right wing, and he will draw a foul, and that is good news. Clock will run on that.
Now Clemson are using the width. Grayson Barber smart. Feels a little contact, goes down. It's a foul. And for Jelani Forbes, the youth, right? Realizing you're in that experience, you cannot commit a foul because they will drain the clock.
And they are going to the corner flag with Brighton, and they will mess around down here. Waste as much time as possible. Again, this is a Clemson team that lost on a final kick of the game against UNC on a set piece on Friday night. There were some clock issues in that one. Somewhat controversial. We won't go into it that much. But UNC benefited from being at home, let's say that. Falls to Smith. Scored the game's opening goal. Mayaka might find some space. Shoots. Curler. Ooh, wide. Oh, Pannenberg loose with the ball back there. Under a minute 30. Trying to get a quick restart, but Clemson maintains possession. Minute to go to close it out for Clemson to knock off the #1 team in the land. Preseason, these were looked at as the 2 best teams in the ACC. This game has been entertaining, to say the least. Smith can't control it, so turns it over. Chima looking forward for Holcomb, but marks off his line. Corrals, 30 to go. Ball spilled. The foot race here with Tubbs and Smith just takes out Tubbs.
And that was smart from Kamari Smith. Realizing, all right, I'll take a foul here. Waste some more time. Took off about 8 seconds off the clock.
And that's it. A Felipe Fernandez Salvador goal gives them the W, 2-1. Mike Noonan and his boys have won 19 straight at historic Riggs Field. They've also are now 108-6 when leading and scoring the first goal under Mike Noonan here at Clemson. Chuck, your thoughts on the #1